Hey, look at this. U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick. Trump may roll back Canada and Mexico tariffs tomorrow. God, it's so... Dude, this is actually the most fucking pathetic bullshit. This makes Trump look so fucking weak. Because guess what? We're ready. We got the fucking shooters in the back. We're prepared for this shit. Of course, there's going to be some transitional time. Obviously, when the real fucking tariffs kick in, we got the initial stuff ready to go. And then, you know, ready to get ready. We'll be ready to go. After 3 weeks, let the companies fucking prepare, you know? It's reasonable. Like I said before, Trudeau is pretty much making all of the correct political moves. Like, honestly, he's, like, done basically nothing wrong. As much as I like to shit on Justin Trudeau, everything he's doing right now, politically speaking, has been on the fucking money. And he said, like, yeah, we're going to be ready with EI and everything. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that, like, press conference he had. Because he knows that, like, it's like, yeah, people are going to get fired because of these fucking tariffs. So we need to be ready for that shit. He knows. And he's ready. Which is good. This is good. Just a good politics. If you're wondering why the Liberals made such a fucking crazy fucking resurgence, this is why. Trudeau being, showing a backbone on the American tariff threats and the American annexation threats, and also just having some pretty decent policy. Yeah. Whoa, the Liberals, like, literally crawled out of the graveyard that they were in, and and now there's, like, literally, if I go to, like, Polling Canada right now, this was, like, recent, is actually insane. The bounce back. Look at this, dude. And this was on the 2nd. It's a dead heater. Oh yeah, I already mentioned that, Boy Meets Mini. Purely speaking, motherfucking Doug Ford used his strength against the Americans to call an election for political purposes. That's it. And also, turnout was also extremely low again. Like, extremely low. 45%. So he was able to maintain a majority. But then again, it doesn't help the fact the Ontario Liberal Party, that even more dead party, was just like, oh, our primary strategy is to go after the NDP. It's just like, brother, what the fuck are you doing? That is literally the worst strategy. You should be working with them in order to put up a unified front, you fucking idiots. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, dead heater. And in some polls, it's saying that Liberals are now slated to win with a minority government. So they'd probably get together with the NDP, and boom, Liberals are back in power after when the election inevitably happens, because we are going to have an election this year. Period. End of story. There will be an election. So yeah, pretty good. This is really good for the Liberals. They're basically making a huge fucking bounce back. Yeah, honestly, it's all I'm fucking. I'm libbed up right now. We're libbed up. All right, we're libbers now. Libbers. Anyway, let's get to our boy Justin Trudeau. I don't know if I also want to what. I know that Doug Ford also said he was threatening to shut off energy reserves to the Americans, which honestly, go ahead. I can't blame him. Honestly. Sure, YOLO. Fuck it. Who cares? But let's see the presser that Trudeau had. Because our boy had a presser. He had a presser. I gotta get ready for blackouts and fuel shortages. Yeah, time for gas prices to go up. The thing that most Americans, like, freak the fuck out over.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau speaking right now after the U.S. slapped Canada with 25% tariffs. Let's listen.
So today, the United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. True. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, A
True.
lying, murderous dictator.
True. Real.
Make that make sense. Canadians are reasonable.
Really?
And
Many
we are
was made
polite.
because of the oil
But
crisis
we will
in
not back
74.
down
That's funny.
from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of
I really don't have much to say here besides, yeah, this is going to be very effective Reddit real life. Also, Soy Trudeau in 59. Oh, I'm thinking of the other one. Never mind. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was the shit that eventually led into the 6 Day War and stuff. Yeah. Also, Trudeau Soy. I mean, yeah, like, it's rhetoric like this. This is why the liberals have made a comeback. They're showing a backbone. They're showing a spine, saying like, no, we're not tolerating any of this fucking bullshit. Fuck this. Stupid. Dumb. We hate this shit. Dumb. Like, we have literally done nothing, and you're just going after us for like no reason. And I mean, I've also said this before. Like, Trump is making it, if he is actually going to back out of the tariffs, if he's actually going to back off of the tariffs tomorrow, dude, that makes him look really bad. Like, so bad. It's, honestly, I'd almost want to say it's like worst case scenario for him.
everyone in it is at stake.
This is true.
At the moment, the U.S. tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada.
I've talked about the response. I think it's a perfect response, to be honest. Hyper target Republican shit, because they're the ones who are doing the shit. Because Trudeau recognizes, did the Democratic states want anything to do with this? No. So why should we punish them? No reason to punish those guys. Fuck the Republicans. They're the ones who are all in lockstep and agreeing with this. So punish them. Suffer. And I'm just like, it's fair.
Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods.
True. Real.
Starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time. Should these tariffs not cease, we are in active and ongoing discussions.
If I recall correctly, I think like Donald Trump in response to this basically said like, oh yeah, well I'm going to slap another 25% tariff. And it's just like the super secret 50% tariff. And it's just like, okay, I guess like Trudeau literally in response was like, okay, I guess we have to go further. Like, I'm going to probably gather together my cabinet, all the ministers and like provincial governors, and we're just going to talk about like what we should do next, because that's how you govern. That's how you do that. Trudeau knows he can make the U.S. backfire on this, and Canada will be fine. Yeah, we'll be fine. We already have we have great relationships with the European Union, Mexico, a bunch of Central and South America. We'll be fine. America, fuck them.
With provinces and territories to pursue several non-tariff measures. Measures which will demonstrate that there are no winners in a trade war.
True.
Now, just like I did a month ago, I want to speak first directly to the American people.
That's Boy Meets Mini.
We don't want this.
Or Chris.
We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you.
True.
As of this morning,
Like I said before, like Republicans, they don't care about anyone. It's all about like giving everything to the billionaires, right? They'll use their constituents to get into power, and that's really about it. Which is why I've been constantly harping on this all the time. Why do the Republicans never talk about, and why are conservatives in general never talking about what their positions are, what they honestly and truly believe in? Because they know it's unpopular. They know it's not going to be resonating with your average people. So, Yep, and just like you said, maintaining power in hierarchical structures. I've also been constantly harping on that. So they don't give a shit. They're going to talk about literally anything else besides what they actually want to do as a first order principle for conservatives. Maintenance of hierarchy. That's it. That's all they fucking care about. So yeah, I mean, like, this is why I've done nothing but compliment the fucking liberals because they're doing everything correctly in terms of like politics, in terms of like recent policy. They've been doing a good job, relatively speaking. I don't really have much to critique here because this is how you should fucking treat a petulant child. Treat them like the children that they are. Be like, okay, fine. Like, you want to get hit with a stick? You get hit with a stick. Like, what do you want from me? Screw you.
Markets are down, and inflation is set to rise dramatically all across your country. Your government has chosen to put American jobs at risk, at the thousands of workplaces that succeed because of materials from Canada or because of consumers in Canada, or both. They've chosen to raise costs for American consumers on everyday essential items like groceries and gas, on major purchases.
Dink donk, conservatives, egg prices. Boy meets Smitty, how those egg prices doing, bud? You know? Dink donk, egg prices.
Like cars and homes and
I'm not
everything
buying
in
eggs.
between.
That's how you
They've
know it's
chosen
bad.
to harm American national security, impeding access to the abundant critical minerals, energy, building materials, and fertilizers that we have and that the United States needs to grow and prosper.
It's also true.
They've chosen to launch a trade.
Yeah, we got a lot of natural resources up here. Potash, petroleum products, other like raw materials. We have a lot of rare earth minerals as well. Not a lot, a good amount. We got a lot of stuff up here. All things that the U.S. constantly craves and demands for. But they want to be stupid dickheads. You know, maybe we're not going to give them to you. Or we'll give them to other people. Fuck it. Yeah, we love raw earth. It's all about the raw earth. We want to eat the earth. I mean, get the earth. It's very important. Very, very important. I wonder if, like, whenever, like, Trump mentions, like, raw earth minerals, he actually thinks it's, like, you grab the raw earth and then you just, like, shake it out the minerals. I guess it's not totally inaccurate, but it just sounds kind of silly.
War that will, first and foremost, harm American families. They've chosen to sabotage their own agenda that was supposed to usher in a new golden age for the United States.
Allegedly.
And they've chosen to...
Keep in mind the sort of golden age that Trump loves to talk about constantly. You want to know, like, what fucking precipitated that supposed golden age? I saw, like, a tweet about this, and they're just like, yeah, let's go. Fucking, it party like it's 1928. And, like, literally the immediate response is, like, do you know what happened in 1929? Like, do you know? Like, do you have an idea what happened there? It's pretty infamous, you know. Black Friday, November 29th, 1929. Yeah, sure, Chris.
Undermine the incredible work we've done together to tackle the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that must be wiped from the face of the earth.
True, but like,
so on
whatever.
That point, let me be crystal clear.
Pretty irrelevant.
There is absolutely no justice.
Mostly, so like on the fentanyl sort of thing. First off, like there's like no fentanyl that comes up for me. I think Trudeau does mention that. But yeah, in terms of like the fentanyl that comes into the US from here, like it's like non-existent, to be honest. There's like none. It's like 0.12% of fentanyl that's in the US comes from up here. Yeah, we don't like, why would you want to cook up here? Like, why? It's cold. Probably need warm temperatures or something to cook fentanyl or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know how to cook fentanyl. The point is that it's not really made up here. Because why would you make it up here? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, so, like, constantly when Trump talks about it, the basis of it is just, it's just nothing. It's a nothing burger. He just, again, is using it as, like, a distraction, like every conservative does, in order to distract you from their really bad policies. That's the point.
Justification or need whatsoever for these tariffs today.
True. And
Now,
real.
the legal pretext your government is using to bring in these tariffs is that Canada is apparently unwilling to help in the fight against illegal fentanyl. Well, that is totally false.
True.
Let's look at the facts.
We've already done exactly what under Biden, what Biden asked us, to help him out with taking care of fentanyl. And it's like, yeah, sure. We don't like fentanyl either. People die us up here because of fentanyl. Fentanyl is kind of bad. We can help. Because we also have that problem. So we'll help. Fuck it. No reason not to. Same with the Mexicans. They also are helping. This besides having to deal with the cartels who keep getting American arms, exacerbating this sort of fentanyl problem. But are the Americans going to do the necessary gun regulations in order to help take care of that? I don't know. Probably not. So, I don't think they're going to do anything about it. But, I don't know. It's basically like, I don't know. It's like conservatives just want a drug war. I don't know. What even 0.0 version of like the drug war are we at this point? Like 3.0, 4.0 or some shit? I don't fucking know. They just want more and more drug war constantly all the time. We're going to win the unwinnable war that has never been won. And that drugs have won each and every single time. Honestly, you want to know who the main person you probably blame for this shit is? Nancy fucking Reagan. That's the main fucking dumbass who you have to blame for this shit. For as to why this current status quo exists with this like 4.0 version of the drug war. Because it's like it's a thing that's just like, it's not a fucking problem. Like, who the hell cares? But still, we have to like harp on and on and on and on over and over and over again. It's not, and I'm not saying that fentanyl isn't bad. Fentanyl is bad. It's killed a lot of people. But like, doing another war on drugs over it it didn't work with all the against weed, crack cocaine, heroin, OxyContin, all this shit. Well, OxyContin's legal, so it's okay if if American companies can monetize off of it. Not so much if other people can. It's all about if American pharmaceutical corporations can make money off of it. Obviously, it all comes back to capital accumulation in the end. We all know this. We all know what this is all about. At the root, it's all about hey, we want a piece of this particular trade because it's extremely fucking lucrative. That's what the pharmaceutical corporations really want. So, we gotta crack down on it. Also, I mean, it's an opportunity to be racist. And Americans love being racist, so,
Our border is already safe and secure. Far less than 1% of fentanyl flows and less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States comes from Canada. But we acted because we know we can always do better. We responded to concerns, including from the president, by implementing an ambitious $1.3 billion border plan. A border plan that includes generational investments in new AI and imaging tools to stop.
Yeah, this I don't really agree with, to be honest. I think this is kind of stupid. But we were doing this anyway at the request of Joe Biden, so it's just like, whatever. If you can make the stupid crybaby shut the fuck up, then okay, fine. But then again, you can't make the stupid crybaby shut the fuck up, so. Because it's not going to be effective. It's going to do nothing. So, yeah. Now he's doing the Modi machine learning meme. Every world leader does now. I'm ready for the machine learning crash. It's gonna happen now because all the world leaders are talking about it. Wants to make a bet.
Stop the flow of fentanyl in its tracks, stronger coordination and information sharing with American agencies, along with the deployment of drones, helicopters, and additional personnel to keep our border secure. Now, a month ago, as part of an agreement with the United States that paused the tariffs, we made further commitments. We appointed Kevin Brasseau as our fentanyl czar, a man who dedicated...
Okay, who the hell else, like, hates the fact that fentanyl czar, the term czar is used as, like, an unofficial, like, political, an unofficial sort of, like, political, appointment. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. I think it's kind of stupid. I blame the Americans for this, obviously. Cultural osmosis and shit like this. But, like, whatever. It's from Caesar, right? Etymology? I believe so, yes. I mean, like, again, who cares? Like, yeah, get like a guy on it. Who gives a shit?
His multi-decade career in law enforcement to combating organized crime networks and drug trafficking. We designated 7 drug...
Are you talking about Augustus? I think it's Augustus was his relative. Yeah. This is true. This is true and real. Yeah, Caesar was pretty bad. He was a bit of a genocidal little freak in Gaul. But anyway.
Cartels, sick, evil groups who cynically profit off the pain and suffering of people on both sides of the border as the terrorist organizations that they are. And just yesterday, we launched a new joint operations partnership supported by a $200 million investment between Canada's security and law enforcement agencies, a partnership that will enhance the coordination of information and intelligence in order to thwart criminal gangs involved in the illegal fentanyl trade. And critically, our actions are working.
Audio.
As the U.S. Customs and Border Protection just acknowledged, there was a 97% drop in fentanyl seizures from January compared to December, to a near zero low of less than half an ounce seized in January, even with all the further enforcements and actions we've taken at the borders. In sum, we stepped up.
Yeah,
we engaged closely and constructively with the president and his administration. We did everything we promised. We stuck to our word.
This is true.
And we
Same with the Mexicans, by the way. They also, like, Trump wanted, like, what? I think it wasn't only just Trump. It was also Biden. He wanted a bunch of, or they both wanted a bunch of, like, border guards to go up to the southern border. The Mexicans complied. They're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So did we. We also complied with that shit. Like, yeah, we sent a bunch of dudes there. They're there. Still doesn't change the fact that fentanyl is hardly made up here. So, like, what do you want? It really doesn't change the fact, to be honest, that where does most of the drugs and, like, illegal immigrants come from? Legal points of entry. And what is the basis for all these people coming up to begin with? Oh, Trump's sanctions on Venezuela, which collapsed the Venezuelan oil market, which caused the collapse of the Venezuelan economy. So a lot of people left the country to go to the U.S. Say it ain't so. Not me reaping and sowing for my actions, all because I did something stupid so I could score political points. No. Ah, shucks.
Did it because we believe in working together to protect our citizens. Now I want to speak directly to one specific American, Donald.
Donald?
In the over 8
Mr.
years
Trump?
you and I have worked together, we've done big things.
Dude, the idea, man. Ugh. The idea that it's been 8 fucking years is crazy, man. That's all I want to say. 8 years, bro. Crazy.
We signed a historic deal that has created record jobs and growth in both of our countries. We've done big things together on the world stage, as Canada and the US have done together for decades, for generations. And now we should be working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald,
that's crazy.
They point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
I wonder how effective rhetorically that's going to be on Donald Trump. I mean, you know, flattery is the only thing that works on him because he's a child. I don't know if this is going to work, to be honest. I mean, I guess it is. Lutnick said that they might take away the tariffs tomorrow. But, I mean, it's just like... I mean, like, think about it. Like, he's committed this hard to the bit. Like, this makes him look extremely fucking weak. This makes him look bad. Honestly, it's just like, dude, this, like, rhetorically speaking, I think, like, this could be very effective, right? Could be. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow at this point, right? I have to wait and see.
We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see. And now, to my fellow Canadians. I won't sugarcoat it. This is going to be tough, even though we're all going to pull together, because that's what we do. We will use every tool at our disposal so Canadian workers and businesses can weather this storm. From expanding EI benefits and making them more flexible to providing direct supports to businesses, we will be there as needed to help. But Canada, make no mistake, no matter how long this lasts, no matter what the cost, the federal government and other orders of government will be there for you.
This
We
is
will
good rhetoric,
defend
by the way.
Canadian jobs. We will take measures to prevent predatory behavior that threatens Canadian companies because of the impacts of this trade war, leaving them open to takeovers. We will relentlessly fight.
Because he's a weak and effective liberal. Like I said before, he was cooking early on. Again, legal weed is Justin Trudeau. We've been getting good childcare policy. Justin Trudeau. The problem is that eventually they started becoming liberals and they became like complacent idiots in office. But right now, like I said before, everything he's been doing rhetorically and politically has been 10 out of 10. No comment. It's just been perfect. All the moves that he's been needing to do, he's been doing them.
Fight to protect our economy. We will stand up for Canadians every single second of every single day because this country is worth fighting for.
Yeah, I know, Ford. We'll take a look
Les
at that.
derniers mois ont été stressants et honnêtement
French.
affligeants.
All right, while the Prime Minister is speaking in French, I want to bring...
Okay, I don't care about the CNN toadies. I don't care. Yeah, we'll take a look at the State of the Union probably tomorrow.
Right now. Excuse me, Vice President Vance right now. I want to listen.
Show very clearly that in terms of taking action on fentanyl, we are doing everything that is necessary, and not just for the United States, for ourselves as well, as Canadians are suffering as well from the scourge that is illegal fentanyl. We have laid out extensive plans, actions, cooperations, including as recently as the past days in Washington, And they
So
have
far, I think this is mostly just the same stump that Trudeau has generally done, I think. Right? Yeah, eventually they just, like, go back to yapping. But yeah. Oui, je peux parler un peu de français. Oui.
always been very well received. And the numbers bear that out.
A bigot.
I think in what President Trump said yesterday, that there is nothing Canada or Mexico can do to avoid these tariffs, underlines very clearly what I think a lot of us have suspected for a long time, that these tariffs are not specifically about fentanyl, even though that is the legal justification he must use to actually move forward with these tariffs.
The United
So we were
States has
just
announced
hearing
it's
there,
suspending
he's taking
aid for Ukraine.
questions.
Taking questions. Is there anything else here? Random jabroni. Random jabroni. End a bit. Anything in the end bit?
Ballot. And so I look bipartisan.
Unfolding.
Okay. No, nothing. Nice. Well, anywho, I mean, I've been reiterating the same point over and over again. Trudeau's making all the correct political moves, dealing with this fucking situation. Not really much else to say. Yeah, not really much else. We'll see if the Trump administration does end up backing off of this shit. I'll be honest. If they do, this makes them look incredibly weak. He's gonna look really fucking bad. Ain't gonna do shit, just gonna blame Biden. Well, I already said Ford. Lutnick has already said that that Trump may roll back the Canada and Mexico tariffs tomorrow. And if he does, it's gonna look so bad. Like, that is so weak, dude. Incredibly weak. Pussy ass president. Yep. Pussy ass president. I guess this can be sort of the part 2 to the look at like Justin Trudeau's, I would say, pretty good speech on the on the response to the trade war started by Donald Trump. Pierre also had a fucking goddamn response. Canada first response to unjustified U.S. tariffs. Now, is Pierre actually being honest about that? I don't know. Let's get her started. I'm going to 2 times this fucking... 1.5 times this. He's vote banking. Yeah. But here's the thing. Doug Ford was successful on this because, he was rather earnest about that. He was earnest about saying, wow, fuck you, America, for fucking us over for no reason. And it played really, really well. Now, is Pierre honest about it? Is he earnest about it? I don't think you really care. Because this is a guy who only parrots Trump's rhetoric. Only. Like, his only political identifying features are carbon tax, carbon tax, carbon tax, which is complete fucking nonsense. Most of the money that you get that goes to the fucking carbon tax comes back to average Canadians as a tax rebate. So, honestly, the carbon tax doles out money to average Canadians. So, that's not very politically effective, but the Liberals haven't been really messaging that at all effectively enough. And all of the Trump talking points. Make Canada great again and shit like that. And you'll also see the stuff he said about the Freedom Convoy that the Liberals have been making recent ads about. Very good ads. Good attack ads on Polyev. But let's see. What was Polyev's response?
a.m., President Trump stabbed America's best friend in the back. My message to the president is this. Canada will...
Keep in mind, quick reminder, his first response to the initial round of tariffs, important context that needs to be added, he was just like, why don't we just trade within Canada only? That was his first response. And obviously, that didn't play well because nobody gave a fuck about that shit at all. No one cared. Because it's like, what are you fucking talking about? That's really dumb. And he completely dropped that.
We'll fight back. We will defend our people and our economy, and we will put Canada first. There's no doubt that our economy will suffer. But so will yours, President Trump. In fact, you're already paying the price with trillions of dollars erased in stock market value over the last month of these threats. Already, Americans are paying higher gas prices. As at midnight, a new American gas tax kicked in on U.S. working class taxpayers and motorists. Your workers will soon start losing jobs they had upgrading Canadian raw materials.
He's already
which, by the way,
stumbling
you were
on his
getting an
words.
incredible and ridiculous bargain. And your businesses will be selling fewer products.
He's just reading off of a paper. Like, that's it. No teleprompter, honestly. I'm surprised by that. You can tell that he's not very happy about the fact that he has to fucking say this shit. Because again, like I outlined before, his whole political identity has been just, his whole political identity has just been Trump, 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 Trump. We're gonna do the same stuff as Trump. Same fucking shit. Yeah, he also has no riz. Zero riz. That's true.
Products to your closest neighbor. And that's only the beginning. While Canadians are slow to anger and quick to forgive, once provoked, we fight back. And we will fight back. Now, I'd like to speak to the millions of Canadians who are anxious today after learning that President Trump has attacked our economy. To the auto workers, the forestry workers, the steel and aluminum workers, the mining and energy workers, the truckers, the farmers, to all of you who get out of bed before the sun rises and do the labor of the nation. You're afraid right now, and I understand. I want you to know that I will fight for you. I will fight for your job. I will fight for your family.
Yeah, meanwhile, he's like part of the reason why we have corporate price gouging done by like the by like all the grocers. Like literally there's one currently going on with Loblaws with meat packing. And them doing like tomfoolery with all the meat packing. Underweighing the meat on purpose to make an extra profit.
I will fight for your chance at owning and paying off a home, and I will fight for your retirement. And I will fight to put Canada first. Before these tariffs came in this morning, you must have been asking yourself, how could things get any worse? Before these tariffs, you were already suffering. You wondered how you'd pay the rent, or eventually dream of buying a home after housing costs had doubled over the last decade, rising faster than it.
You're part of the reason why that's the case. Under the Conservative Party, when we were ruled by the fucking Conservatives under Stephen Harper, you were the housing MP in the Conservative Party. And you want to know the only housing projects that you approved of? It was all luxury condos and shit. So then people can gamble with them on the market and have them as speculative assets. You are the reason why our housing market is so bad. There's other factors as well that eventually got revealed and compounded by that. But main fucking reason, you decided to not approve a lot of low-income fucking housing. You mostly did luxury fucking condo approvals because that's what your real estate buddies wanted. Nice meme.
In any other G7 country. You've downgraded your diet as food prices have risen 37% faster in Canada than in the United States over the last 5 years. You might be one of the 2 million people, a record-breaking number, lined up at food banks, a number that has more than doubled before these tariffs applied. You've likely noticed that your paycheck is not keeping up with the record inflation, as Canada's GDP has grown less and lower than any other G7 country over the last decade. You might have noticed that your company has already been moving jobs to the United States, as greedy and self-serving CEOs put their share prices ahead of your job.
You're part of the
$500 billion
problem
net
as to
left
why
for
that's
Canada
the case.
for
Yeah.
Trump's America under the current Liberal government. And now this. But I'm here with a message of hope. We will overcome this attack on our economy. And I have a plan to do it. First, we must retaliate, targeting American goods in the following order. A, goods that we can make ourselves. B, goods we don't need. And C, goods we can get from elsewhere. Second, counter tariffs must...
Like what? You got any specifics? Trudeau was very, very specific in what he's targeting. He said he's like, we're going to be targeting these products specifically from these states. Here's the dollar amount of what we are targeting. And if Trump wants to put in reciprocal tariffs, we will respond in kind to more products from the specific Republican states. Like, oh, looks like you may not be able to go to Florida, Canadians. Oh well. We're getting fucked over by the US. Sucks. I mean, we didn't do anything to deserve this. And broadly speaking, everyone in Canada was just like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Even like the most insane of like provincial governors were just like, yeah, he's kind of right. Like we're like with him on this one. Like in Alberta and Saskatchewan and shit. The most insane fucking conservative fucking governors are just like, yeah, he's kind of spitting on this one. He's not wrong.
Must not be a cash cow for the government. Almost every penny of the tariffs collected should go to tax cuts.
That's hilarious, dude. That he's talking about the government in this particular instance. That's not how that works. These are trade dealers we're talking about that are being tariffed. And tax cuts to who?
The small sum set aside for targeted relief to workers hardest hit by the trade war. None
Okay,
of the
good.
money should go to new government spending and programs. We must not allow politicians to dishonestly use this crisis to...
Like what? Notice how he's not being specific about anything. You want to know what Trudeau said in that speech? He said, like, yeah, we're going to expand EI in order to help people in this particular hard time in the tariffs, because we know that people's jobs are going to be impacted about this. We're going to do that in order to help with EI. And Trudeau specifically mentioned it.
to once again launch a debt-fueled, money-printing spending spree that will drive up inflation and further destroy the working class and hit the poorest people the hardest. Third, we must immediately pass a bring...
So that means you are against EI. What he means by saying, oh, we're going to can't have a spending spree because of this fucking trade war is the workers who get paid via employment insurance. That's what our EI is basically like. Here, we know that you're you're struggling to find a job right now because you lost a job. Here's some money to make sure that you can pay rent and stuff. He's saying that, oh, the money that's being used to make from the tariffs, the government shouldn't be spending it on EI at all. Like, what are you saying here, buddy?
Bring it home tax cut on work, investment, energy, and home building. The idea is to neutralize the cost of the tariffs with lower taxes and incentivize massive new investment in building stuff here in this country. The obvious place to start is to get rid of the liberal carbon tax, then axe the sales tax on new homes.
The carbon tax? What do you mean? Dude, literally the people who pay into the fucking carbon tax mostly, it's not individual Canadians. Individual Canadians get a rebate from the carbon tax. He can't go even a second without mentioning the carbon tax. It's hilarious, dude. Oh my god. This is already not going well for Pierre here because he's not being specific. Trudeau was very specific in like the actions he was taking and what he's going to do to provide relief. Here, we're gonna go after the carbon tax. Oh, great. The thing that mostly gives rebates to average Canadians. Okay.
We need to reverse the liberal capital gains tax hike and slash income tax so that hard work pays off and you bring home more of each dollar you earn.
Yeah, like literally using this as an excuse to cut more taxes for the rich. That's gonna play really well, Pierre. That's really gonna help the economy, which is now flailing because of Trump's belligerence. God, that's so funny.
Fourth, we must immediately repeal the liberal No New Pipelines Law, C-69, a law that not only blocks all pipelines but stops mines, refineries, export plants, and all kinds of other energy infrastructure and makes us hopelessly reliant on one customer, the Americans, a customer we cannot count on anymore. We must greenlight LNG plants that liberals say there is no business case for so that we can no longer have to sell our 100% of our LNG, our gas exports to the Americans. We can sell it to Asia and Europe and help break the European dependence.
Wait, what are you fucking That's not how that works, dude. You need to arrange trade deals. It's not because of not building any fucking plants. What the fuck are you talking about? You need to arrange trade deals in order to be able to sell gas to people. You have to be like, hey, we're going to sell gas to you. Here's the price or whatever for like X amount of years or however the fuck. What are you talking about? Oh, we got to build the plants. What? What do you mean?
Dependence on Putin, turning dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people. 5, you know what industry Donald Trump does not control in Canada? Home building. It is a homegrown industry. We must get rid of all taxes and red tape to unleash the biggest home building boom this country has ever seen, bigger than the post-war boom when our heroes were coming back from...
I mean, that's already something that Trudeau is trying to do, basically, but you guys are getting in the way of that. Keep in mind, beating a dead horse here. This was the guy during Harper's government who was the housing secretary who didn't approve any low-income housing. Only luxury condos. I should know. I was living in Ottawa when that shit was fucking happening. And I saw, like, during, like, 20... Like, in, what? In, like, 2014 and everything. All of those luxury condos starting to, like, spring up everywhere in, like, downtown Ottawa and shit. Even in, like, Little Italy and everything. There were some luxury condos that were popping up. But, like, pretty close by where I was living. By the university, by Carleton. But those are the only housing projects that were getting approved by the federal government. That's it. LNG is really important for trucking, by the way. Oh, don't ask how bad it is here in LA. Dude, it's like, don't ask how bad it is in Toronto, bro. Jesus, it's so bad in Toronto.
From that war, we need to build homes faster than ever, and that means removing the bureaucracy, the red tape, the taxes, and the gatekeepers. And I will make it happen. That will also boost the demand for softwood lumber.
So basically, what he's saying there is, hey, real estaters, you want to build in, like, wherever the fuck you want to build, especially, like, again, this was a huge scandal for the Ford government in the Greenbelt, where it was promised, hey, no building there, and then Doug Ford, with his fucking real estate buddy, was just like, actually, I'm gonna let you guys build there, because, you know, you came to my daughter's wedding, or was it a birthday party? It was some party. Doesn't fucking matter. Went to, like, one of his daughter's parties to give him fucking money and shit. And then all of a sudden, we've approved some housing projects in the Ontario Greenbelt. That is some BJP level corruption. Yeah, he got shellacked in the media for it. Didn't end up mattering, though.
The loggers are suffering after Biden hit them with tariffs already. And 6, let's get our provinces
Biden hit them with tariffs? What tariffs? What is he talking about?
together to knock down trade barriers so that we can lower prices and boost wages for our people. 7, we must secure our borders and rebuild our...
No. Okay, it wasn't like that. They basically, a bunch of his buddies went to, like, it was some birthday party somewhere. It was a party. I don't know if it was, like, marriage or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. He had a bunch of his fucking, like, dipshit fucking real estate buddies show up there in order to give gifts. And the obvious pay for play is very obvious. But yeah, it's obviously corrupt.
More military to assert our sovereignty and strength in the world. All these things, axing taxes, building homes, unleashing construction of our resources, fixing the budget, stopping crime. All of these things were conservative fixations before the tariffs. Now they are even more necessary.
He's being very not specific. What does he mean by axe the tax? Obviously, he's talking about the carbon tax, but I already mentioned, again, being a dead fucking horse, why it's stupid to fucking, like, even care about the carbon tax. Because, again, he's got nothing else, basically.
But none of these things have happened in the last 100 days since Trump first launched his tariff threats. Look behind me. Parliament has been closed. Liberals shut it down to focus on their political battles. So the job-killing carbon tax is still in place. The sales tax is still in place on...
Okay.
New homes. The no new pipelines law still in place. The massive inflationary deficits still...
Yeah, they're having a leadership race. That's pretty normal. You can't hold votes without one of the main parties there who have a huge minority of the votes within the House of Commons. So they had to adjudicate sessions of Parliament for that? You can't have votes right now? But okay? Stupid? No, he's trying to use that as like a... Because he knows how it plays into like the American audience. He's trying to do the same thing with like Canadians. But everyone knows there's liberal leadership races going on right now. It's just like, yeah, no one can really like... Even if they go in to do the votes without the liberals there, nothing is going to get passed because, like, most of the representatives won't be there. So it's just like, okay, what's the point in doing anything right now?
Still in place. Not one law has been changed. Not one tax has been cut. Not one action has been taken to free us from the grip of Trump and the U.S. We need change, and we will get change.
Again, like, how does cutting Canadian taxes help us, like, free ourselves from the grip of Trump? It doesn't make any sense. That is domestic politics. This is like more regional politics that we're talking about in terms of the trade war. It's just it's nonsensical. He's not being specific on anything because he knows that if he tries to be specific, it's going to make him look bad.
Change. It will be tough. Building Canada was tough, and so are Canadians. We will bring home the country we know and love and restore its promise. Canada will be self-reliant, sovereign, and stand on its own 2 feet. We will build on the great legacy and vision of John A. Macdonald of uniting our country east to west. We'll reward work, unleash entrepreneurs, harvest resources, make our own goods, trade with each other, build homes for our youth, rebuild our borders and military, honor our history, and raise our flag. What binds us together is the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, that hard work gets you a great life in a beautiful house on a safe street protected by...
Yeah, our number one trading partner will be Canada. God, that ad was so stupid. He's not wrong. I do think that probably some of the barriers for interregional trade probably should go down. But, like, the thing is the reason why you trade more, you want to trade more and more with, like, especially your much bigger, more powerful neighbor down south. The reason why it's advantageous is because, again, that's our own form of soft power, which is why the trade war that Trump is trying to launch with Canada is really fucking stupid. The U.S. needs us a lot more than we need the U.S. because we produce all these natural resources. We can just be like, oh, you want to be like a little fucking asshole? Okay, fine. We can just give. Well, not give. We can just trade stuff with other people. Yeah, we can talk with Mexico. We can talk with the Europeans. We can talk with other Central American polities. Southeast Asia. We can do that. Yeah, no problem. We are Canada. We have a ton of resources that we're willing to trade with the world. Why don't we cut a deal with them? We don't need America. Fuck you. You guys want to be assholes to us? Get out of here. That ad was such a cell phone. It was a really fucking stupid ad. Because again, like, we don't... Like, trading amongst ourselves, like, is fine and all, but this isn't, like, fucking Rome Total War. It's not how that works. It's just stupid.
Solid borders and brave troops under a proud flag. To preserve that flag,
yeah, solid
and its
borders, because we're having a border crisis.
Fight together and win together. That is what it means to put Canada first, because Canada is worth fighting for our people, for our land, for our home.
Man, those Greenlanders are sure, like, invading the Canadian borders. Because Trump's trying to conquer them. Yeah, dude. Sure. Canada sure is having a border crisis. So stupid.
For our country. Let's bring it home.
Do you agree with the tariffs? What do you think Donald Trump wants by announcing these tariffs? What do you think Donald Trump wants?
Now you're gonna see questions now?
Programme d'aide pour aider les Canadiens et plus généralement, lorsque le gouvernement fédéral met en place des programmes d'aide, doit-il dépenser de l'argent?
On doit être ciblé pour répondre directement aux besoins que la population pense ajouter, mais en même temps...
Que c'était vraiment pour ça.
À lui? Rater la fentanyl pour les Canadiens. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to say that in English. The question was, have the Liberals done enough on fentanyl, and is that a good justification for
we're talking
Trump's
about
tariffs? And the answer to both questions is no and no. No, the Liberals have not done enough on fentanyl, but not because they should have been doing it for Trump. They should have been doing it for Canadians. We've lost 50,000 people to fentanyl. That's more than died in the Second World War. And that is because of the weak borders, the soft laws.
It's okay. It's whatever. Stupid.
The radical liberalization of drugs that the Liberals experimented with and that they want to continue on with.
Is he talking about legalizing of marijuana? Dude, like, the legalization of marijuana has been a tax benefit for us. Like, what are you talking about? You should be soying the fuck out over that. What, are we, like, doing, like... Are we doing, like, studies into, like, medicinal sort of mushrooms and stuff like that? Because that's, like, the typical logical next step, which I don't have a problem with that, to be honest. Like, yeah, sure, fuck it. What era did he walk out of? He, like... Brain is soup. Doesn't matter. He's an idiot.
I would ban the drugs, add 2,000 CBSA border guards, more surveillance towers.
Like, what drugs? Again, you can see, still not providing any specifics. Like, what? What's the popularity on drug legalization in Canada? He might also be talking about British Columbia doing safe injection sites. I know that that's been having problems with funding specifically because of dishonest attacks by the Conservatives. Those literally save lives? Yup. But like, what exactly is he talking about? Is Canada decriminalizing drugs? The exemption will be will be in place for 3 years, making the first formal decriminalization of illicit drug policy reform in Canada. BC's decriminalization initiative is premised on several goals. Yes, if you do quit cold turkey, it's pretty bad. Opioids so from January 31st, 2023, so this has been in effect for a while, to January 31st, 2026, adults are no longer subject to criminal charges or drug seizures if they're found in personal possession of up to 2.5 grams of any combination of opioids, methamphetamine, MDMA, and cocaine. Wow, that's a pretty broad stroke. Okay. Approach monitoring attitudes around drug decriminalization. Health Canada is collecting data. Okay, so right now, yeah, it's an experiment because they want to see, like, okay, what's the vibe? They want to get a vibe first. The same thing they did with weed. Sigma attitudes towards drug use, perceptions of public safety. Of course, the Conservatives are going to use this dishonestly as a way to attack the Liberals because they want people to only suffer. Attitudes towards approaches to address substance use amongst people who use drugs. So this is a plurality, but 49% say focus on access to health and social services such as drug treatment centers and recovery programs. That's at 49%, so almost a majority, but a very high plurality. Both approaches are equally appropriate. So I guess that would be like focus on health and social services and focus on police and enforcement such as criminal charges and jail time. I guess that's what's meant by 35% here saying both approaches are equally appropriate. And then 6% say neither approach is appropriate. I'm really curious to think like what is meant by neither approach is appropriate. But 35% saying both. So they're like mostly 50-50. So we can honestly say that about a majority of Canadians mostly agree with focusing on access to health and social services is the best way forward. I wonder if they mean like the Portuguese model. But I think it's because it's been rather successful in BC. Because it has been successful in BC. The only reason why it's floundering now is because of dishonest attacks and defunding of the programs. But yeah, for the most part, I would like my friends or family who use drugs to feel comfortable talking to me about it. 88% strongly agree with that. Who's the 7% who strongly disagree with that? I have empathy for people struggling with drug use. 81%. I believe decriminalization would make it easier to access health and social services such as drug treatment centers and recovery programs. That's at 62%. I believe decriminalizing drugs would reduce the stigma towards people who use drugs, 56%. I believe decriminalizing drugs would increase harms associated with drug use, such as overdoses. That's at 51%, which, that can be sort of like quibbled about, but, not a ridiculous idea to have. And I believe decriminalizing drugs would make my community less safe. And that is at 43% strongly agree with that. So a plurality disagree with that, which is at 46%. So I guess generally speaking, if we're talking about overall polling, and this is like from the government itself, people are generally speaking, in terms of drug decriminalization, for it. In a lot of very high pluralities and majorities. So I don't like, this is just not going to be that effective, I think. Because broadly speaking, everyone knows, like, oh, if you get access to the care that you need in order to help with the drugs, like, because people know if you quit cold turkey, that's it. Like, that's going to be worse. Your body will go into shock. That's bad.
Scanners and drones to interrupt the illegal entry of fentanyl into our country, and I would treat fentanyl dealers for what they are. They are mass murderers, and they will get life sentences when I'm Prime Minister. But let's be clear. That is not a justification for tariffs. We have guns, drugs, and illegal migrants coming from the United States to Canada. We have never tariffed the Americans for that. If the president wants to fight fentanyl, I agree with him, but I would do it not for President Trump. I would do it for Canadians so that not one more mother gets a knock on the door from a police officer telling her that her...
He has to frame it this way because, like, again, he really doesn't have, like, any appropriate responses for any, like, anything that the liberals have, to be honest. Like, when Trudeau was directly talking to Trump, he was doing it in a way to be like, Trump, buddy, I'm trying to give you a fucking goddamn out here. Yeah, it's an appeal to fear. You want to know, like, again, in both of the tariff responses that Trudeau had, he was primarily talking about Canadians. And Trudeau knows, politically speaking, the only way you can deal with Trump is through flattery. Like, nothing else is going to work.
Her son is died in a back alley.
Do you believe this is about annexing Canada?
Support package, whatever you want to call it, require reopening the House and passing legislation. Is this something you're open to doing, even if it requires supporting the Liberals on Congress?
We should have had the House open for the last 2 months. Well, we haven't. That's a question for the Liberals. They're the ones that shut down Parliament, and that's why we haven't had those debates.
Last question! Because there's the Liberals are having their leadership. Okay, whatever.
Le président américain a dit que vous êtes. He's not
French.
a MAGA guy. I don't like what he says about me. Comment, dans ce contexte, vous pensez établir une...
Défendre notre... Well, I'll answer.
Is that what the end game here for Donald Trump?
Let me be clear. I'm going to combine the two questions. The gentleman asked in French about President Trump's comments on me. The president says that he doesn't like me. He doesn't think that I'm a MAGA guy. I am not. It is true that I am Canada first. I'm only for Canada. I'm fighting for the interests of this people and this country.
I struggled to get through that one. Are you sure about that, buddy? You sure about that? You had some interesting stuff to say about the trucker convoy, which was mostly orchestrated by and heavily supported by a lot of American far-right groups. I don't know if you're Canada first, buddy. I don't think so.
And if that upsets foreign leaders, including the American president, I'm fine with that, because I have one job to do, and it's to fight for this country. And let me be also clear.
Sure.
We will never be the 51st state. We will be self-reliant, sovereign, and stand on our own feet. We will be an independent and a sovereign country, and I will always stand up for our flag and our people.
Yeah, people are not fucking buying that line. They do not believe it, because, again, the liberals are putting out fucking shit like this.
I'm a MAGA. The president says that he doesn't like me. He doesn't think that I'm a MAGA guy. I am not.
Everything is broken.
Everything is broken.
Political correctness.
Woke political correctness.
Defeating the radical left.
The radical left.
Uh-oh. You seem to be parroting a lot of his rhetoric. Are you sure you're not a MAGA guy, Pierre? Pierre. Are you sure you're not a MAGA guy, buddy?
Okay. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't.
They have no common sense. I am not.
Oh, don't get it twisted, Boy Meets Mini. The liberals normally are not this petty. They're doing it now because they now see, oh, this is very politically efficacious. Normally they are not this petty, but they're doing a very good job at playing into the petty. And because, again, here's another ad here by the fucking liberals. Another pretty good ad by the liberals. Normally they are not this petty, generally speaking. But, like, what are they mostly playing off of? The fact that everybody hates Donald Trump. And they're playing into that mostly. Not because they're petty against Pierre Poilievre. They don't like Pierre because he's like, oh, look, it's really easy to point him out as being Trump. Not because of conservative policy or anything. They don't really give much of a shit about that. They're just like, we just don't like Trump. Which, I mean, fair enough. Fuck this guy. But in terms of the pettiness factor, not really there.
We want those great Canadian truckers to know that we are with them all the way.
I mean, you gave them a lot of money.
I'm proud of the truckers, and I stand with them. I was out at an overpass as the truckers went by, and what I saw were cheerful, patriotic, optimistic.
Yeah, they were. There was. Yeah, I wish. God, I wish so badly I was in Ottawa during this fucking shit. There was a lot of dudes with swastikas drawn on their fucking Canadian flags. Quite a lot of those guys, and it was mostly dudes with fucking Trump flags in their fucking dumbass pickup trucks. Should tell you very well who the primary demographic was that were a part of the fucking freedom convoys.
Canadians.
We want those great Canadian truckers to know that we are with them all the way.
And reminder, what were they fucking complaining about? Oh, the vaccine mandates, which, by the way, the main fucking union for the truckers that represents the actual fucking truckers, a lot of the very poor truckers, because, again, you want to know who the main fucking people who were having a problem with the vaccine fucking mandates? Oh, it was all the fucking bourgeois dipshits who mostly came up from America. It was the business owners who were having a problem with it. Not most of the rank and file. Some of the rank and file also joined in like solidarity, but I think it's because they didn't know that it was mostly business owners who were complaining about the fucking vaccine mandates. And there was, again, like I said, a lot of American far-right groups who gave money to the Freedom Convoy. And basically, their demands were just like, yeah, we want to coup the government and have ourselves in charge. That was their main demands. There's just like, no. Nuh-uh. That's not allowed. Which was why I did not really like Justin Trudeau's main response to it, which was freezing their bank accounts. Because, again, he can use those same justifications if there's, say, a general strike that happens in Canada. He can just be like, well, I'm going to use the Emergencies Powers Act to just freeze everyone's bank accounts. He could do that, theoretically speaking now. What would have been better to do was send in the military and just clear them out. Now, he wanted to do that initially, but he was like waffling, saying that, oh, well, we don't have the approval of Doug Ford to send in the military to clear them out, so I guess I can't really do anything besides the Emergency Powers Act. And it's just like, dude, just muscle through Doug Ford. Fuck him. The only reason why he's not fucking approving of this is because it's politically efficacious of him to make you look as bad as possible. It was all fucking politics for Doug Ford. He doesn't give a fuck about anything else. So just send in the fucking military to tell them, hey, all right, enough of this, get the fuck out of here, time to leave. But yeah, you know, Pierre's full of shit. The only people at the fucking goddamn trucker convoys, it was all fucking business owners. It was all petite bourgeois fucking dumbasses complaining about the stupidest shit on the fucking planet. That's really about it. And these are good ads by the Liberal Party. Directly tying Polyev with Trump. Very, very effectively.